Hi, this is Alan Little. I'm here today to show you how to use the development tools, how to install them, and build your first application on the IBM Application Server on the cloud. The tooling that's used with the Application Server on the cloud is the WebSphere Developer Tools, also referred to as WDT, which is an Eclipse-based set of tooling that will let you do remote development. The steps we're going to go through are pretty simple. There are a couple areas that will get better over time, but this will get you started. You start by downloading a fresh copy of Eclipse. We'll install the WDT tooling and the extensions to Eclipse. We'll install a local version of Liberty onto your machine, and that's used to help do debugging and other things. And then we'll create an instance of the IBM Application Server on the cloud. There's a one-time adjustment that you have to do to Server XML to enable the remote tools to be able to connect to your server on the cloud. Hopefully we'll have that addressed sometime here in the not-too-distant future, so it'll be a simple one-click adjustment. But right now you have to make some changes to Server XML. You'll create an instance of a server in your Eclipse development environment that really represents the IBM Application Server on the cloud. Once you've done that, the tools look just like they're local on your machine, and you can use them, and we'll go through and do a simple development of a Hello World JSP application. To get started, I went out to the web and I downloaded the latest version of Eclipse, which is the Mars release. It came down as a zip file, which I included in a demo directory, and then I unzipped it. I also created two folders, one that will hold the version of WebSphere that you will download to your local machine, and a directory to hold the workspace, which we'll use for the Hello World application. I then launched Eclipse, pointing to the workspace folder that I created, and as it comes up, we get it to the point where we're in the workspace, and we'll install WDT. We go to wasdev.net out on the internet, which gets redirected to developer at ibm.com wasdev. But this site has lots of good information about WebSphere, including the developer tools. So we're going to go to the latest WebSphere WAS Liberty release. And what we're going to do is we're just going to download the developer tools. You can get that by taking this button and then dragging it here into your Eclipse that you have open. And what happens is it then selects the set of features that you want in order to do development. So this gives you the set. We do confirmation. And it goes through and asks you ultimately to approve the license, and then you can go off and do the install. So the software will install, Eclipse will restart, and from that point on we can start configuring the environment for use. Once we have the WDT installed, we can actually get a server connection set up. First step, though, is to get an instance of WebSphere downloaded and ready for use. So we do that by creating a new server is basically what I'm going to try to do. So I come down here and pick server. And the type of server I'm going to pick is a WebSphere Application Server Liberty profile. So part of downloading WDT, install the plugins to let Eclipse run Liberty. So I'm going to take the default localhost to begin with. You have to have a version of a localhost on your machine in order to connect to the cloud-based server. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to install from an archive or repository, and I'm going to download and install a new runtime from IBM.com, and I picked the full profile, and I'm going to on my machine I created a demo directory and I created a folder to begin with. So I'm going to select that folder. I'm going to select that as the thing I'm going to download, and I hit next. And it's searching for the download sites. I'm going to install the extended programming models by clicking on that button, and then I'm going to select the base bundle. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to accept the license. I'm going to name the server Hello Server. There's no applications yet to install. I'm going to click Finish. It will actually do the downloads, and then we can start integrating the cloud-based server. Once it's installed, you'll get a message pop up saying that these two things are installed, and then you actually have a server that's out there that you could use locally if you in fact want to. Next, we're going to go off to Application Server on the cloud, which we've already described in another video on how to get an instance. But what we're going to describe is how to download Server XML, how to modify it, how to put it back, which will let us do the connection. So switching to my browser and logging on to Bluemix, I created an instance of Application Server on the cloud, in this case a Liberty profile. And we're going to tailor that the Server XML that's running there so that it has the right configuration in order for us to connect WDT to it. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to do a secure FTP to download the file and reload it. And I'm just going to use this root user ID and password as my option. This is the particular password that you need. You can use any secure FTP service you want. We're not recommending one or the other. And I'm going to pull one down here and use it, and we'll go from there. So I use a secure FTP client that I got off of Chrome, and I logged on to my server, which is the IP address that you have there at port 22 is tucks secure shell into the server. And so I'm going to work my way and find the server XML, which is under OPT. IBM, capital IBM, WebSphere, under Profiles, Liberty, Servers, Server 1, and there's my server XML. So I double click on it and I basically download my server XML. So bringing up the server XML and edit, the information I have to add, or I have to make sure that I put in server XML, is the addition of the admin center, local connector, and the REST connector. Those are the features that have to be added. This gave me a point in time where I could update the password for the environment. And then I need to add this remote file access stanza. So I'll include these in the charts that come with the thing, but this gives you a picture. What this does is this tells it where WDT can store files and look at files. The connectors allow WDT to connect into the server to basically download the server XML and to be able to install applications and do the remote development that you want to do. So once you've added those changes, you can save that server XML, and then you can basically push it back. In this case, I'm going to put it back up into the server again with my secure FTP client. And once I've done that, the server is set up and ready to go. By restoring server XML, the server will get restarted, and assuming you made all the changes correctly, you can do the right thing. If you, in fact, think you made a finger check or something like that, you can bring up Secure Shell and use the script commands from the Secure Shell to diagnose the problem and start the server. But once you have that server started, we're going to flip back to Eclipse, and I'm going to create a new server, but this time I'm going to point to the server that we just pointed to on the cloud. So I'm going to create server, and instead of it being localhost, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get this IP address, and I'm going to put that IP address right here. So this is creating the server on my Eclipse, but I'm pointing to the server that's out in the cloud. And I selected the wrong thing here. So I got to select WebSphere Application Server. Okay, so that's the first set of information you have to enter. Next is I want to include the WebSphere user ID, which is WSAdmin. And you saw the password that I put in server XML, so I'm doing that, and I've got to have the secure port, which is 443. I'm going to verify that information, so it's going to go out. It's going to accept a self-signed certificate, and it's going to connect and download the server configuration files. So we've downloaded what was in server XML. We have created and validated the connection between your Eclipse and the server in the cloud. I say accept next. Now the question is, do I want to enable the server to start? I want to be able to start and stop the server remotely from your Eclipse. In this case, I do. I can use Secure Shell, which I'll do in another video, but I'm just going to use the root user ID and password that I got back. It might make more sense to create another user ID and password, and I certainly would, but to get started here, I'm going to use the information we gave you back. So I'm using root, I'm putting that password in, and I'm accepting next. There are still no applications there, and I'm going to say select, I'm going to say finish, and it's going to go off and do some processing to create the connections. And you see you got another server created, but this time at the address that you're looking for. It's starting it. In fact, it was already started, so it's connecting to it, it's synchronizing with it, and in fact it's going to come back and display the log entry for me. So you'll see there's various things that I've done in the server already, including doing that configuration update. So now the server's running. I have a connection to the server, and we'll go off and do the quick development of our Hello World application. So to create the sample application, we're going to go here and we're going to create a dynamic web project just as the beginning, and we're going to call it Hello World. Project. And we're going to make sure the target runtime is the Liberty profile, and I think that's it. We're going to select finish, and yes, I want the web perspective. Under web content, basically I'm just going to create a simple JSP. That is index JSP, small I. save index. And now I'm going to install the application, or I'm going to run the application on server. And in fact, I'm going to select, this is the server that we're going to do it on. So in fact, I've moved the ear file there, and I'm going to run it. If I go look at down here, you'll see that I've started the web application. It's started in the runtime, and in fact, I should be able to bring it up in a web browser and get there. And that's the simple way of doing it. If I keep making changes to it, I can keep, if I make the change and add Hello World 2 and save the file, you'll actually see that what happens is we publish the file back out to the server, and in fact, if I look at the console, you'll see that it's out there again, and I should be able to hit the button and Hello World 2 there. So the change is pretty quick. With that said, this is how you set up the server, how you connect the tools to it, how you do some simple development, and hopefully you'll enjoy trying it. Thanks. Bye.